Well, welcome to another episode of Bison Insider. I am your host, Mr. John McLemore, and today we are joined by a very special guest, someone who hails from the smallest town on a globe, Miss Maggie Backen. How are you doing, Miss Maggie?
I'm good. How are you?
So, can you fill us in a little bit more on this whole, you have a globe in your office, if I'm not mistaken, that has your tiny little town of North Dakota on it, correct?
Correct. It is Mott, North Dakota. I'm not really sure why Mott is on the globe. There are a lot of different theories. Basically, when people make globes and maps, different companies change it a little bit to copyright it to their particular company. And for some odd reason, this company has chosen Mott. Whether it's geographically cool or if there's some ties there, we don't know, but it is on the globe in my office. So.
Okay, well, that's an interesting theory and an interesting train of thought. So let's start off with some easy questions. What is your position here at our center?
I'm the manager of academics.
Okay, and how long have you been here?
I've been at Burdick since 2015, August of 2015.
If I'm not mistaken, you started out in a different department. Well, same department, just different position, correct?
Right. I used to be the high school GED teacher instructor. Yep.
Okay, perfect. Well, let's get into some little bit more thought-provoking questions. These questions are designed to make you think on your feet, and you have no earthly idea what is coming.
No, I don't.
So, have you done anything fun or anything that you wouldn't normally do since this isolation phase kicked off?
I have tried my hand at home repairs. Turns out I am not good at home repairs. For those students watching that don't know, I am expecting a baby in June. And so the main thing, I was like, oh, sweet, I can try and get that nursery up and going. Turns out I am not coordinated enough for painting. I am not good with a handsaw. So I might need to be visiting the carpentry trade a little bit more in the future so I can work on those skills.
So you're definitely no Bob Vila, and would you consider yourself more of a Tim Allen in home improvement or worse?
I don't think I'm as bad because I don't have the desire to upgrade things like he does or to make things more powerful, but I'm definitely Tim Allen more.
Okay. Well, which do you think is better, Lucky Charms or Captain Crunch?
Captain Crunch.
Is there a certain reason?
The texture of the marshmallows when they're in milk grosses me out.
So as a young lady growing up in Mott, what did you aspire to be when you grew up?
Well, I actually wanted to be a lawyer. Well, it depends on which phase of growing up we're talking about, because when I was younger, I, of course, thought that I was going to be the rodeo queen and ride horses and be that for the rest of my life. Then I wanted to be a lawyer, and then from there, through classes at college and through student teaching, I decided to stay with teaching.
Okay, that's just like most of us, we've changed our life expectations multiple times after we get into college. What do you think your greatest fear in your professional career is?
In my professional career, my greatest fear would probably be, oh dear, that's a good one. Not feeling like my work is helping anybody.
Okay.
Like, as a teacher, sometimes you get instant gratification, sometimes you don't. But I think if there was a week where I went by where I felt like I didn't help somebody in some way, that would be my fear, is that I would no longer be important in the daily lives of someone.
That makes sense. Hypothetically speaking, you're on a cruise, enjoying the fun in the sun. Huge storm rises up, crashes against these gigantic waves, are coming over the top of you, crashes against the ship, and unfortunately your ship sinks. You're the only survivor. And in volcano style, you find gigantic suitcases to float on. You float to a deserted island. And on this island, you find a lot of things. There's no native people that are living there, so you haven't explored that yet. But once you get there on those 3 gigantic suitcases that you floated on, what do you think the first three things you would do? What do you think you would do?
Right open the suitcases.
Okay, that's one.
See if there's anything that I could utilize. Start a fire. And look for weapons.
Okay. That's interesting. I was actually expecting your answer to be, well, number one, I would cry hysterically. I would scream. Okay, so you took it the survival route instead of where I thought you were.
I grew up in the country. Come on now.
Well, let me ask this question then: can you start a fire without without a lighter?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, depending on if I have the rocks and stuff, yeah.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. I don't know if I really want to take you camping, but we'll see. So we're almost out of time, and I just got a couple more questions for you. This one is not as serious, but it's could be. If you had any superpower, what would it be, and why?
The ability to read minds, just because I can read expressions very good, but I think it would be interesting to know the people who are I'm not good at hiding my expressions. Like my face pretty much tells you what I'm thinking. So it would be nice for people who have that ability to hide their expressions, for me to be able to tell what they're thinking.
That makes sense. On a more serious note, do you have any words of encouragement for our students during this weird phase of life that we're going through?
Just remember that this is a historical event. You know, in 50 years, your kids, grandkids are going to be asking you about it. So just make sure that your answers are something to be proud of. You know, that you studied up, you learned something new, you tried something new instead of, just sat around. That would be my advice, be to take advantage of it.
That makes sense. Those are good words of encouragement. So unfortunately, that does mean that we are out of time. So just a reminder for all those that are watching, make sure you head over to our YouTube channel. Check that out. It's the Burdick Job Corps Center. And also check out our Facebook page, the Burdick Job Corps Community. All of our new episodes, our updates, news, events, things that are coming up, those will all be there. So make sure you hit that like button so you can stay informed. And traditionally speaking, I end this in the same way. And I have a one final question, one final thought from Miss Maggie. The final thought for today. What did the sheriff's deputy say to his belly button?
Oh my gosh, I don't know what.
You're under a vest.
Oh my God. That is funny. Probably only because my husband is the sheriff's deputy. I will have to tell him that one.
I thought you might like that one. I did have to change that joke just a hair, just to match your situation, but I think it worked pretty good. So until the next time we see everybody, just stay safe, and we'll see you soon.